Hello and welcome to a bonus episode of Sports and Songs podcast. I'm Dan. This is my co-host Andy. How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you.
What we've got tonight, it's August 29th, 2024. Labor Day weekend's coming up. We're going to do a preview of the Class C State Amateur Baseball Tournament.
Yep.
There's down to 16 teams left at single elimination. We made it to the final weekend.
Yes.
There are games Friday night, a full slate on Saturday, and then Sunday there is an early game and a late game for both of the brackets, the top half and the bottom half. So potential of 2 games on Sunday, a max of 1 on Friday and Saturday, and then a max of 1 on Monday for the finals. Monday, 1 o'clock is the State Class C championship game. We're going to give a preview and go over a little bit of the games and the matchups coming up for this coming weekend. So what have we got, Andy?
All right, here we go.
Let's pull it up here.
My clicker here. Of course, CNN reporting that we are the fastest growing podcast in all of Western Carver County.
Oh, yes, that's true.
We like to have fun. If you want to call it the top half of the bracket, I guess. I don't know what you want to call this.
That's fair.
Why is my screen not working? Work for me, screen.
All right, there it is. I see it.
There it is. Why is that? There we go. Top half of the bracket. There we go. All right. Whew.
So really,
bring your blunt to work day today here at work. So that
it's the top 8 teams here of the top half of the bracket. The bottom half we'll get to later on. And what we'll do is present the matchups, the locations, where it's at, and the time, and then I'll introduce once again at the end of the season which of the teams were a top 10 ranked team in the state according to Class C. Not that it matters because each team has a draft of 3 additional pitchers. Really throws things wild. Right. But just to kind of let you know from a gauge perspective, who are the top teams coming in? The rest of the teams are all still unranked. So there's 16 teams left. So go for it, Andy.
We got Jordan Brewers and the Sauk Center Titans Friday night at 7:30 at the Mini Met in Jordan.
And Jordan's
the winner of that is the winner of New Ulm Brewers and the Buckham Billy Goats.
Billy Goats. So Jordan was ranked number 1 when the season came to an end for the rankings. Number 1 ranked team. So they're playing at home, literally on their home field. A night game on Friday, single elimination. They're the number 1 ranked team. Now we know Sauk Center is good, a tough team. Are they going to win? I don't know. It's a tough one, but it's also tough for the home team to rattle off all these wins and get to the finals and actually pull it off. It's a very tough thing to do, but they certainly could do it. They're ranked 1, Jordan is. Sauk Center's got the work cut out for them. The New Ulm Brewers are ranked 3rd in the state.
Yep.
3rd in the state. And look at this. Buckman Billy Goats are ranked 5th. The last time they did the rankings, they were tied for 5th. So the winner of New Ulm Buckman against potentially Jordan, it's going to be a 2 top 5 teams in the state of Minnesota going head to head in the quarterfinals. I mean, we're talking. So it's going to get interesting. This top bracket is tough. Sauk Center's got the work cut out for them, even if they do get by Jordan in that first round.
In the bottom half of the top bracket, Young America Cardinals, Friday night in Green Isle against the Union Hill Bulldogs, and then Fairmont versus Sartell in the bottom half. And that'll be a Saturday mid-afternoon game in the Jordan.
Now, Young America coming from the Crow River going against Union Hill coming from the DRS. This should be a good matchup on its own just because of the fans that are going to be at Green Isle. It's a night game, single elimination. But keep in mind, Young America was ranked number 2 overall in the state of Minnesota when the season ended, before the draft. Yep. They're going to be tough. And guess who lost, Andy, before the state tournament even started? The Watertown team, the Plato Blue Jays got beat.
Yep.
Both teams very, very heavy on pitching. And guess who got the luxury is the Crow River team.
Picked up some Plato and some Watertown pitchers.
Picked up some extra guys. So Young America could be unbeatable here going through the bracket with all their pitching.
Young America picked up Watertown pitching, which Watertown was ranked in the top 10. Plato was top 4 in the 7C in the Crow River. So they got good stock.
Yeah, and Young America already was deep. Now, Union Hill did the same thing, picked up some good pitching, but it's going to be tough for that Union Hill team. They can pull off some upsets, though, and they travel well. That's going to be a well-attended game. Fairmont Martins is one of the teams that's riding under the radar right now. Very good team, always has been good over the years. They're not ranked. That's a team to watch out for. but they're facing Sartell the Muskies, who just knocked off last week the Nisswa Lightning, who were ranked tied for 5th in the state of Minnesota. They knocked them off. That's the only team so far knocked out since the tournament began of a top 10 ranked team. Nisswa was the only team to lose so far, and Sartell did the damage there. So look out for Sartell. Fairmont's always tough. Young America, I got a feeling should be able to win both those games, but you don't know what's going to happen with all these drafts and the pitchers. This is when it gets to be really fun.
And I'm going to stick here before we're going to finish this topic for long. I got a question for you as someone who's played and someone who's followed this a lot longer than I have. You look at that next round, and I don't care that Jordan's at home or not. Let's take that out of the equation. But those games Sunday in Jordan, do you want to be the guy playing the back-to-back games like probably Young America is going to do? Or do you want to have that break like Jordan where you might lose your momentum, but the rest will be nice too?
Well, everyone, I think for the next game, everyone got the next round on Sunday has double back-to-back games.
Yeah.
You have to play the one. I think every game on Sunday for the first is a 1 and a 4. Or there's 2 games. There's an early and a late game.
An 11 and a 1:30. Then you play right away at 4 o'clock. So someone's playing basically a doubleheader.
Yep.
And the other team is playing a doubleheader, but they get a game off in between.
Well, let's see.
Would you rather have the time off, or do you want to keep going?
No, this is okay. So for Sunday, just to clarify, good question. Typically, tournaments in the earlier rounds have that. This particular one, everyone either plays at 11:30 or 1. Let's see. On Sunday, it's 1:30 or 11. Yep. So there's no game in between. Sunday's a double-header game for all the teams if you make it that far.
So if Jordan wins the 11 o'clock game, they got to wait till 4 to play again.
Nope. Oh. Gotcha. I'm looking at the same round. Yeah, so they will play at 4, and they got a team to a back round. Yep.
So would you rather have the break or play back-to-back?
Gotcha. Playing back-to-back is tough, but you're going to have the depth of the pitching. It depends on the weather for the weekend. You're going to have the pitching, I think, regardless. But you're also mixing in the fact that you could make the finals. So now you gotta have another pitcher ready for that Monday game, or have a bullpen session or something, or use another draftee. But each game here along the way, you're playing to win. There's no second, there's no background, there's no double elimination. So you've got to win. But yes, you sit around and now you got time to wait, and then you play that late game. All these things are challenging, I think. Do you stay warm and play another game, or do you stay and then get loose and get tight, and then you got to get stretched out again for the next game? So yes.
I think the only person that likes to wait would be the catcher. Seriously, because
they would like, and these teams right now, they have typically they're too deep for catchers, but you're not drafting. So once again, now if you've got one guy, one stud, one horse catcher, you could be catching 18 innings on one day in the heat for the weekend, and not to mention the following day on that Monday if they win. So this is really where it gets taxing on the pitching staff and the catching. The batteries are really tough. Do you like the time off? Yes, but do you tighten up?
And this isn't a put down. But if I was the backup catcher or the second catcher, to have him catch your draftee and keep the two teammates together as a battery.
So the draftees are from the other teams. The catchers are from your own team. So you're going to be already familiar with your own guys.
Yeah, so you have your backup catcher catch the draftee.
Pitching or catching the draftee, unless they used him earlier. Most guys, even if you don't know them, it'll take an inning or two to get to pick up what they do and how they work. So they'll pick that up. But it is interesting. They might get that, work that out in the bullpen warming up. Who knows?
And these draftees, it's not the guy who was working at the convenience store last night you picked up. You've followed these guys all year. You've had 2-3 weeks to work with them a little bit already. You kind of know who these guys are.
Yeah, and some have relationships with them before it anyway. They're like, hey, if you guys end up losing and we win, we're going to pick you up anyway because I've played with you in high school or something anyway. So they'll end up knowing each other at this point anyway. But it is interesting. You still don't know if a pitcher is going to have their stuff that day, whether it's the normal pitcher or the draftee or someone coming in the bullpen or relief. Just because they're a good pitcher doesn't mean they're going to be good that day. They have to have their stuff. Things have all got to be working. If they're a really good pitcher and they're just off that day and they can't find the zone, that's how things go south in a hurry here. And you got to decide now to pull the trigger a little quicker on bringing new pitchers in on these games. But yeah, you're assuming you're going to have all your best pitchers lined up, and you just have to hope that they've got their stuff. So here's flip to the bottom then section.
I'm trying to work on that. The graphic department did not do a very good job, so stall for me a little bit there.
No problem. So the bottom, we've got 8 teams on the bottom. It's the same things. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 games to take place then to get to that game, get to the next rounds. Now, there's also a Friday on this bottom bracket. There's a Friday game, and maybe we cover that first.
Yeah, talk about that one. I'll work on the graphics here.
Okay. So the Friday game at the bottom bracket is Bird Island. Bird Island ranked number 4 in the state of Minnesota, ranked 4th. They'll be going up against Kimball. Kimball's always tough. Kimball rattled off a bunch of wins, come from behind wins going into Class C here for this weekend. Bird Island's always tough. That should be a good matchup right there. And the one I'm talking about there is Third Down. That's the Friday night game. Bird Island, Kimball in Belle Plaine. That should be good. But let's start from the top here. Let's go ahead with the top.
Red Wing Aces in Cortland will be Saturday at 4 in Green Isle, and the Buffalo Bulldogs and Watkins will be Saturday at 4 p.m. in Belle Plaine. Winners will play in Green Isle. Green Isle gets the lower half bracket there for the Seminoles.
All right. So Red Wing, good. They've always got good teams. Cortland is one of those teams that have flown below the radar the entire time. Never mentioned. They were never in the top 10 at any point during the season. But they're also in the also mentioned. They play in the Tomahawk East. They're in there with New Ulm Brewers. Cortland is the team that when I filled my bracket out, Andy, I had them winning this next game. I have them beating Red Wing, actually.
Okay.
Cortland's one of those teams to look out for. I've liked them. I follow them all year. That'll be a good game. The other game is Buffalo, ranked number 7th in the state. Buffalo Bulldogs against the Watkins Clippers. Watkins always seems to be good coming into Labor Day weekend. Every single year, this Watkins team is good with the various Geislinger brothers. But Buffalo has just got one of those teams this year that is going to be tough. Now, with Delano losing in the North Star League, with all their stud pitching in Delano, guess who reaped the rewards are these North Star teams, such as Buffalo, that are sitting with these Delano guys and others from that section on their roster as draftees. So I think Buffalo will win this one. I got Cortland winning the next game then as well. The bottom, we mentioned Bird Island.
Bird Island, Kimball. Then you got Bemidji Blue Ox and Waconia. Now, I went to the Bemidji New York Mills game last week.
Okay.
A very good game. 4-0. Bemidji had one of the drafty pitchers going, a lefty. He went complete game. So they are rested and ready pitching-wise. Waconia is Waconia. We know how good they are. Bemidji's runs, they had one good inning, then scored a couple more here and there. So a good, solid team. Waconia kind of gets theirs in spurts. Bemidji played and I hate to sound like an old man coach here, but they played good fundamental baseball. But their pitcher that had struck out 15. So I didn't really get to see how good the defense was, but the few plays they did have when they weren't striking guys out, they were doing what you got to do. Very impressed with the Bemidji Blue Ox. Will they beat Waconia, or will they give them a good game? I'm just going to say they'll give them a good game. Nothing against them. Not saying small town in the big city. Not that at all. Waconia just has more horses.
Now, I think all these games will be good, and they should even be close. But nevertheless, there seems to be, Andy, this weekend, good teams battling out, all these heavyweights going at it, and there's still going to be one 10-run game in 7 innings where there's a blowout that takes place that nobody expects. And I don't know which one of these games is going to happen, but I'll bet you there's going to be one of them in the mix, right?
Well, and you look at the bottom one game, too. Again, Bemidji and Waconia. Again, not crying wolf for anyone. Bemidji's got to play the 11 a.m. game on a Saturday. Pretty sure, and again, no offense, it's just town ball, but you come down Friday night first.
I think they're going to have to. I can't imagine.
I mean,
If it's 11 o'clock game, they're probably going to be there in Belle Plaine warming up 9:30 for the game.
Yeah.
And they probably do hitting practice beforehand. So they'll probably be in town already well rested. But who knows if they like to party or not. Some of these teams get a little rambunctious, Andy.
So if you're at the bars out in
the fan
Plaine,
buses. We know the fan buses do for sure, and the fans. But the teams, we don't know. Bemidji should be a good game. Waconia is stacked 1 to 9 on their batting order. Every one of those guys can hit the ball, and they're good hitters. And they got guys off the bench that could do it. So they're a good hitting team. They got a good pitching. They got phenomenal pitching. And they got 3 guys in the draft that I don't believe they've used yet at all. Right? So Waconia was ranked 10th coming in the state of Minnesota 10th, but they're in this tough Crow River with Young America and Watertown. So you would think Waconia would win this game over Bemidji. Who knows? Waconia is known also for coming up flat on some of these state tournament games and losing unexpected games. But I don't know if I see it this year. They've been using John Bezdicek, the left-handed stud, for both their first 2 games. He threw a no-hitter first time in 3 years in state tournament game, and I think the 26th overall was Bezdicek threw a no-hitter last week against the Montgomery Mallards in a state tournament game.
And he's pitched both games for them, you said?
He's pitched both. So he's in the mix and could shut down almost any one of these lineups, I think, in the rest of the way going. But when are you going to pitch him? Do you save him for Monday? Do you use him right away? And then you bring in guys like Blake Tritch, who you've drafted, or Cody Simon that's on your team, Anson Dulis from Watertown, another good pitcher. They're so deep that if you're going to see a team make a run on this weekend, it looks like it's going to be like a Waconia team. But the problem is, if they play Bird Island the next game, there's a 4-ranked team against a 10-ranked team. And then you get Buffalo on the bracket above that you'll have to play the 4 o'clock game on Sunday against Buffalo. These are all going to be top 10 teams facing each other off unless there's going to be some upsets.
Let me just look at something here. I want to check something out here. Hold on. Okay, nothing against the other locations. If you got nothing going on Saturday, I'd spend it in Belle Plaine. You got Bemidji and Waconia at 11. 4 o'clock, you got Buffalo and Watkins. And at 7:30, you got Bird Island and Kimball. My God. There's 3 good games right there.
And once again, we're focusing on Class C. If you don't see the other fields, there's still Class B going on this weekend, Labor Day weekend. They wrap up with a fewer number of games on Saturday, and they're done on Sunday.
I mean, that's why you don't see Belle Plaine. It's Green Island Jordan on Sunday.
We're focusing on Class C here, but there's also, if you get a chance and there's not a Class C team and you're going to the stadium where there's a game going on and it's not Class C, you're going to be in for a treat also with some Class B baseball. But for this show, we're just covering the Class C. It's going to be very good. Green Isle and Jordan is where things all wrap up with the championship game in Jordan at the Mini-Met at Monday at 1 p.m., I believe. So it's going to be fun. Once again, because it's single elimination, Andy, that's why this tournament is so good. No one likes the double elimination. No one likes the back draw. No one likes watching a third place or
this
fifth place.
Could be the championship game if their team wins and we play one more. That's one thing I don't like about college. I don't like some of that. I want to know if there's a winner or a champion in this game.
There is, and they used to have that here in Class C recently, where you had to play them again if it was your first loss or whatever. But this is a straight draw championship. That's it. There's one game. There's not 2 on Monday. There's one.
Winner take all.
It's 1 o'clock, winner take all. We've been there for the last couple of years for the tournament. When you go to the tournament, you will get the program. And keep in mind, we are on page 42 of the booklet.
Yep.
If you get a chance to see our
There
ad.
it is. That's us. Woo.
So Sports and Songs podcast will be there. We'll look for us at the games. We'll be at a bunch of them. I'm not sure which locations yet, but these are all going to be good games. Parking will be tough. A lot of fans will be at all these games. Weather, it looks like it's going to be awesome, Andy. But that's all I've got for a preview.
That's it. That's our picks. We're not making any picks. We kind of made some bold ones at the beginning. I'm just picking good games. We all win if we get good games.
Now, what we mentioned before was, I brought in the top 10 teams that are ranked before the tournament started. The teams that didn't even make the tournament were Avon. The Avon team didn't make. They got beat out in their own regional. Watertown, as you're wearing the shirt there, got beat out in their own regional. Didn't even make the state of Minnesota, and they were a top 10 ranked team. Now with Nisswa out, the Sweet 16 we're dealing with right now, there's 7 of the top 10 teams in the state are still alive. Top 7 in the state out of the 16. But with these draftee pitchers, you don't know what's going to be coming or going. It's going to be wild stuff.
We shall see.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Leave your comments below. If we missed anything, let us know.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you.